Archangel Michael says, "A secret that nearly ended everything has just been revealed." The person who carried this heavy burden was on the edge of giving up, but something changed at the final moment. With trembling lips and a breaking heart, they confessed their feelings, and that confession became the very reason they chose to live. This confession wasn't just words. It was a cry from the soul that pulled them back from the abyss. They had carried the weight of silence for too long, drowning in emotions they never dared to voice. But now what was hidden in shadows has been brought to light, and with it came the miracle of survival. Now, this moment has shifted everything. The relationship that was once silent and uncertain has turned into something real. They are making it official, not in secret, but boldly in front of others who will witness this transformation. The heaviness of despair has been replaced by a new fire of love. Their relationship is now a testimony that confessions heal, that truth saves, and that connection is more powerful than darkness. What almost ended in silence is now beginning with a voice that refused to stay hidden. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, "This moment of truth was not an accident. It was guided, orchestrated by forces beyond what the eye can see. Your person was being watched over, protected even in their darkest night. Their confession was more than just feelings spoken. It was their lifeline. It was their final attempt to be heard. And when they finally let it out, heaven itself responded with grace. What could have been the end has now become a beginning. And this is not just a private whisper anymore. This relationship is stepping into the light, no longer shadowed by secrecy or doubt. They want the world to know, they want their hearts to be seen together, and they are not ashamed anymore. From near tragedy has come the most unexpected gift. Love that refuses to be hidden and a bond that refuses to be broken. The official step they are taking now is proof that even the darkest nights can give birth to the brightest mornings. Type Amen to get blessing 444. The truth is, this wasn't just about romance. It was about survival, redemption, and destiny aligning at the very last second. When they thought all hope was gone, love came rushing in like a flood. Their confession wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't perfect, but it was raw, real, and powerful. Every word they spoke carried tears, but it also carried freedom. And in that freedom, they found reasons to keep moving forward. The announcement they are making now is not for show. It's a vow. A vow that what nearly slipped away will be cherished and honored from this moment on. No more hiding, no more fear, only truth binding them together. And heaven smiles upon this union because it was born out of pain but raised into purpose. Where there was silence, there is now joy. Where there was despair, there is now life. Type Amen to get blessing 555. This revelation will shock many, because no one saw how deep the pain really was. Behind their smiles, there was darkness, but you were always the light they longed for. It was your connection that pulled them back from the edge. They couldn't bear the thought of leaving without telling you the truth. That's why they spoke, that's why they confessed, because their heart couldn't leave this world without being honest. And when they did, everything shifted. Now, with courage, they are ready to show the world who you are to them. They are ready to stand in front of others and declare what their heart has always known. This relationship is not just private anymore. It is becoming official, undeniable, and strong. This is heaven's way of rewriting a story that almost ended too soon. And now, instead of mourning, there will be celebration. Instead of endings, there are beginnings. Instead of silence, there is love. Type Amen to get blessing 666. Archangel Michael says, the moment of confession was not just an accident. It was divine timing. For nights, this person fought a war within themselves, balancing between silence and surrender. Yet, when they finally spoke, the chains that bound their spirit were broken. Every word they shared was drenched in emotion, carrying the weight of years of unspoken truth. Their soul trembled, but they released what was hidden, and it gave them back the strength to live. The confession became a shield, protecting them from the darkness that nearly consumed them. Now the air has changed around them. Their heart feels lighter, their steps steadier, and their life no longer whispers of endings but sings of beginnings. What once seemed impossible has now become a reality filled with hope. In front of many, they are preparing to declare what was once locked away. The official step they are taking will silence doubts, heal wounds, and bind two hearts together forever. Type Amen to get blessing 777. This transformation is a miracle that can only be understood by those who know what it means to face the edge. They were standing at the cliff of despair, looking down, ready to fall. But a voice deep inside reminded them of you, reminded them of love, reminded them of what was worth staying for. It wasn't just a confession, it was a resurrection. Their soul, once tired and weary, was lifted back to life. And now what nearly ended in tears has become a testimony of survival and faith. The relationship that begins from this moment is not ordinary. It is forged in fire, tested by darkness, and saved by truth. That's why it carries so much strength and resilience. When they stand in front of others, declaring you as theirs, it won't just be words. It will be proof that even the weakest moments can give rise to the strongest bonds. Type Amen to get blessing 888. The night before this confession, they had almost written their farewell. Thoughts of leaving, thoughts of endings, filled their mind. They believed no one would understand the depth of their pain. But love is powerful. It is stronger than despair, stronger than fear, stronger than silence. That is why, in the final moment, they chose to speak instead of disappear. Now, as they take your hand in public, as they show the world what you mean to them, it is a declaration of victory. A victory not just over loneliness, but over the forces that tried to destroy them. Their relationship with you is no longer a secret. It is the very reason they live, the very anchor that keeps them standing strong. What they almost lost is now the very thing they will fight for endlessly. Type Amen to get blessing 999. The confession carried with it an energy that shifted everything. People who thought they knew the story will be shocked when they see what has happened. They will not believe the transformation, but the truth cannot be denied. Your person is standing tall now, holding your name in their heart as a treasure. They no longer hide, no longer shrink, no longer fear what others may say. They are ready to stand in the light because your presence has given them courage. And soon everyone will see the depth of this connection. The announcement being made will echo beyond just words. It will carry the weight of redemption, survival, and true love. The heavens have sealed this bond, for it was not built on illusion, but on a truth strong enough to bring life where there was almost none. This is the love that was meant to be known, celebrated, and honored. Type Amen to get blessing 111. The silence of the past has been replaced by laughter and joy. The nights of despair are gone, replaced with mornings of hope. This union is a reminder that love rescues, restores, and renews. Now they are preparing to stand with you in front of others, making their bond known to all. This is not just about romance. It is about survival and destiny. Their confession has turned into a public vow, a sacred promise. Every eye will witness the change. Every heart will feel the weight of this story. What was hidden is being revealed. What was broken is being restored. What was dying is now alive again. The heavens rejoice, for this is not just a relationship. It is a covenant sealed by love and protected by divine hands. Type Amen to get blessing 222. Archangel Michael says there is a sacred shift happening right now. What began as despair is now transforming into a testimony of strength. This confession was not only a declaration of love, but also a silent cry for life that was answered by heaven. They stood at the edge, thinking they had no reason left to stay. But the moment they confessed their heart, everything changed. Their voice carried the power to break chains that even silence could not hold any longer. Now, what was nearly destroyed has become something unshakable. Their love for you became the very reason to fight through the storm and stand in the light. Their choice to speak has given both of you a story that will forever inspire. And very soon, before the eyes of many, this love will be declared openly. It will not be whispered anymore. It will be official, binding, and undeniable. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Their confession was more than words. It was an act of survival. When they opened their heart, they weren't just telling you their feelings. They were giving themselves a reason to keep breathing. You became the light in their tunnel, the answer to the emptiness they carried. This moment has rewritten everything they believed about themselves. Once broken, now healed. Once hopeless, now hopeful. Once silent, now bold. Their relationship is no longer hidden, because it was never meant to be hidden. It was designed to be seen, known, and cherished. That is why they are standing before others, making their truth undeniable. What could have ended in silence has become a promise of forever. The testimony of love will outshine the despair that once shadowed their life. Type Amen to get blessing 444. The people around them will be stunned when they hear the news. They thought this story was finished, but it is only beginning. The strength to confess came not from fear, but from a love too powerful to be buried. When they speak your name, they do it with reverence. When they stand beside you, they do it with courage. And when they make this relationship official, they will do it with pride. The chains of shame have fallen. The weight of silence has lifted. The despair that almost ended them has turned into a declaration of hope. This relationship is now a pillar, standing tall against storms. It is proof that no matter how broken someone feels, love has the power to restore and rebuild. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Their decision to stay was fueled by your existence in their heart. You were their anchor when everything else was pulling them under. It was your connection that made their confession possible and their life worth continuing. The night before, they had planned for an end. But the next morning, they chose a beginning instead. This was not just luck. It was divine intervention. Now, their hands no longer tremble with fear but hold strength with love. Their tears are no longer born from sorrow, but from joy and gratitude. In front of everyone, they will show what they nearly lost and what they now choose to protect forever. This is not just romance, it is a testimony of survival. Type Amen to get blessing 666. The atmosphere around them has changed. What once felt like darkness pressing in has now turned into light bursting forth. You will notice the glow on their face, the strength in their eyes, and the courage in their spirit. They are stepping into a new chapter with boldness. Their love will not hide anymore, because it has already conquered fear. Their relationship is no longer fragile, it is stronger than ever. The crowd that witnesses their confession will feel the weight of the moment. They will know this is not ordinary love, but a love forged in pain and reborn through truth. Every step they take now will echo the miracle that happened, the miracle of choosing life, choosing love, and choosing you. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Archangel Michael says, when the truth finally left their lips, it shattered the walls they had built for years. They had lived with fear, carrying the weight of unspoken emotions. But the moment they confessed, it was like chains snapping in the unseen realm. What was meant to destroy them became the very reason they were lifted into life again. The world will never truly understand how close they came to the edge. Every smile they showed was hiding an ocean of sorrow. But when they finally whispered their feelings, when they finally admitted their truth, the abyss lost its grip. Their confession was not a weakness, it was their greatest act of strength. And because of that moment, their life has been transformed forever. They are no longer hiding. They are ready to stand tall in love. This is why they are now ready to make their relationship known before others. It is not only a choice of love but a proclamation of victory. Type Amen to get blessing 888. The crowd that will soon gather will see something they never expected. They will see two souls standing together, bound not just by romance but by a love that conquered despair. What almost ended in silence will now be celebrated loudly. Your person has chosen to make their love official. No more secrets, no more hesitation, no more fear. This declaration will be one of courage, one of truth, one of survival. This will shock some, inspire others, and silence many who once doubted. Because what was nearly buried in darkness has now risen into the light. Their story will be remembered not for its sorrow but for its triumph. And this triumph belongs to both of you, for your bond was the very thing that brought them back to life. Type Amen to get blessing 999. There were nights they thought they could never tell you. They thought their feelings would remain unspoken forever. But silence was too heavy, and the truth was too powerful to be held back. When they finally spoke, it wasn't perfect. Their words shook, their voice cracked, their tears fell. But in those broken sentences came the purest confession of all. And you listened, you heard their truth, you felt the weight of their pain, and in that moment, the two of you became bound in a way deeper than before. This is why they live today, because they dared to speak, because you dared to hear, because together you created a space where life could begin again. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Their love is now stepping into the light. Every step forward is proof that despair did not win. Every word spoken publicly will silence the whispers of doubt forever. They will stand in front of others, hand in hand, heart to heart, declaring their bond with pride. This is no longer about surviving, it is about thriving. Their decision to make the relationship official is a testimony to all who watch. It tells the world that even in the darkest hours, love can rise and take its rightful place. And as this unfolds, heaven itself rejoices, because what was almost destroyed has now been restored. The angels stand as witnesses to this new beginning. Type Amen to get blessing 222. The silence of death was replaced by the music of love. What nearly became the last chapter has now turned into the opening of a new story. Your person has been reborn through this confession. This is not just a relationship, it is destiny unfolding. This bond is not fragile, for it has already been tested in the fires of despair. Instead, it stands unshakable, a fortress built by truth. As they stand in front of others, declaring what they once kept hidden, there will be a power in their words. Those listening will feel the presence of something greater than themselves. Because this union is not ordinary, it is blessed, it is protected, it is divine. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says the story is far from over. The confession that saved them was not just a moment. It was the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Each day since, their spirit has felt lighter, their hope brighter, and their love stronger. When they spoke, their voice carried both fear and freedom. They had lived so long with silence that words felt foreign. Yet once spoken, they poured out like rivers. And those words did not just touch your heart. They saved their very life. Now they are not content with keeping this hidden. They want the world to see what love has done, how truth has transformed, and how despair has been defeated. They want their relationship to shine like a torch in the night, guiding others who may be lost. Soon, in front of many, they will take your hand and make it known that their heart belongs to you fully, officially, and eternally. Type Amen to get blessing 444. What once was weakness has become strength. The same heart that nearly gave up is now overflowing with courage. The same voice that almost went silent is now echoing with truth. When they confessed, they were not expecting the chains to break so powerfully. Yet heaven honored that honesty, and now every step they take forward is a miracle in motion. People will wonder how they found the strength. They will not know the nights of tears, the silent battles, the heavy thoughts. But you know, you were the one who heard, the one who listened, the one who gave them a reason to believe. This is why your connection is so unbreakable, because it was built not on convenience but on survival, not on illusion but on truth. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The announcement they are preparing is not small. It will shake the people around them, for many never expected this bond to come into the light. Some doubted, some judged, some even tried to separate, but none of that matters now. Their love for you is undeniable. Their commitment to you is unshakable. Their decision to make it official is unstoppable. When they stand before others, they will not just be declaring a relationship. They will be declaring victory over death, despair, and doubt. Their story will inspire, and their testimony will heal. And you will stand beside them, not just as a partner but as the miracle they clung to when everything else was fading. Type Amen to get blessing 666. There is a glow in their presence now. A fire that once seemed to fade has been reignited. Each glance they give you carries gratitude, because you are the reason they chose to live, the reason they found their voice again. They will never forget the night they almost lost everything. Nor will they forget the moment you gave them space to speak, to confess, to pour out what was hidden for too long. This is why they fight now. Not for survival, but for love, for joy, for the future they almost threw away. And their fight is not silent. It is bold, radiant, and unshakable. The world will soon see this bond, and when they do, they will witness not just romance but resurrection. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Every chapter of their life until now has led to this one moment. The struggles, the silence, the despair. It all brought them to the edge. But the confession pulled them back and rewrote the ending. This is why your relationship now carries so much weight. It is not casual, it is not temporary, it is eternal. It was forged in fire, blessed in truth, and saved by love. When they look at you, they do not just see a partner. They see the anchor that held them. Now become a radiant new beginning. Your person stood on the edge of despair, but their confession pulled them back into life. That moment of truth was heaven's way of rewriting their destiny. They no longer carry the same heavy silence. The words they spoke unlocked a new path, one that leads not to endings but to promises. And in that promise you became the reason for their renewal. Now they cannot imagine hiding what they feel anymore. They are ready to declare before the eyes of many that this love is official, eternal, and unshakable. The truth that saved them in private will now be celebrated in public. The moment they stand with you, hand in hand, will be a testimony that love has conquered despair. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They once believed no one would ever understand their pain. For so long, they buried it beneath forced smiles and silent nights. But in you, they found someone who could see beyond the mask. When they confessed, they did not just speak their feelings. They handed you their brokenness, their fears, their very soul. And you did not reject them. You embraced them. That embrace became the anchor that steadied them when everything else was crumbling. This is why their love for you has grown into something unshakable. It is no longer a fragile hope, it is a solid foundation built on truth. And soon, when they announce their devotion in front of others, the world will see the miracle that confession created. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Your person is no longer afraid of being seen. Once, they hid their heart in shadows, terrified of judgment and rejection. But now, courage flows through them like a river that cannot be stopped. They know the value of what they almost lost. They know the danger of silence and the power of truth. That is why they are ready to show the world who you are to them and who they are to you. This will not be a timid declaration. It will be bold, radiant, and undeniable. A proclamation that even in the darkest hours, love was enough to save and restore. Their relationship with you is no longer just a choice. It is destiny unfolding before all eyes. Type Amen to get blessing 222. The heaviness that once lived inside them has been replaced by joy. Every day now feels like a second chance, a gift they nearly threw away. But with you, each moment is filled with purpose. This is why they smile differently when you are near. This is why their eyes shine brighter when they speak of you. You were the reason their story did not end too soon. The confession gave them life, but your presence gave them meaning. Together, this love is unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. Very soon, their declaration will echo beyond just words. It will be a vow spoken not only to you but to the world. Type Amen to get blessing 333. This love story is not ordinary. It is a divine testimony of survival and redemption. Where others only see romance, heaven sees a miracle. Your person knows this, which is why they cannot hold back anymore. They will not hide you. They will not silence their heart. They will not pretend to be without you. Their confession was the beginning, but their public declaration will be the ceiling. Before the eyes of many, they will stand with you as if to say, "This is the one who saved me. This is the one I live for." And nothing will stop that truth from being known. The heavens rejoice, for this union has been tested, proven, and made stronger through fire. Type Amen to get blessing 404.